Carrie, can we bring this back to real time for a minute? For those that are listening right now, how do they actually begin to apply this?
I would say pause right now and see what change you actually see in your landscape right now. Because here's the truth, your team isn't living through just one change, right? They're living through three, four, or five all simultaneously. And so, I mean, some as a leader, you initiated, and some came from above, and some came from a market. And you might not necessarily be fully aware of the entire ecosystem of change that your team is navigating. So start there and see what that inventory is.
That sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. Most leaders don't take the time to inventory what's happening, but imagine being the one going through it, right? A lot for you to think about the list, but imagine the ones that are living the list. And so those kind of leaders that don't want to do this, they react to what's on fire, they manage what's urgent, and they completely miss the accumulated weight that your team is feeling from the change. First step is what changes are actually in motion right now, and then literally list it out. And the systems changes, the restructuring changes, new processes, market pressure, whatever it may be. List it out so you are aware. And then think about which ones your team's struggling with most or might struggle with most, which ones have been managed from a logistical level only, and which ones could be managed at a more human level.
So this isn't academic.
No, no, it's not academic at all. It's about where you need to step up this week. It's about where do you need to have conversations that you've been avoiding. And it's about where do you need to be more human and frankly less corporate.
And then once they've inventoried all that,
Just pick one. Just the change that their team is struggling with most, figure out what that one is, and then apply the full framework. Context, impact, support, and voice. Have the conversation and then notice what shifts. Notice, did people leave with clarity? Did trust go up or go down? What would I adjust next time? That's how this becomes a practice instead of an aspiration or just some podcast that you listen to. You learn by doing and then you iterate and then you just get better.
all right. So then if someone's saying right now, I have a change that they're managing and they want to do it differently, what's the first thing they should do?
Want them to step into their team's shoes. Pick the change that they're struggling with, the one that's created the most friction, resistance, or quiet disengagement, and then sit with it from their perspective. Not the policy, not the reality. What does this actually look like? And what does this mean to their day to day? What has made their morning look different? What relationship shifts are happening? What skills are suddenly not good enough or are irrelevant, right? What might they be worried about but not saying? And the fear that their expertise is obsolete. What does that feel like? Think about the anxiety and the workload, the threat to the relationships they've already built, the question of whether they're still valuable.
That's interesting. That sounds a lot like empathy work.
Yep, it is empathy work because you are actually stepping outside of your leadership position, your responsibilities, and you're experiencing what they're experiencing. And most leaders skip this step. They jump straight into communicating and planning. But you can't lead empathetically if you haven't actually done the empathy part.
So for the individual leader, what does that actually do for them?
It changes the way that they communicate and they approach this. It changes how they show up. It changes the tone because you're not communicating at somebody, you're communicating with them. And you understand their reality and you understand that it's not just about the change, it's about that you understand their reality. So the upside to this is that change, there's always a change coming, right? So a tool that makes people more effective helps that friction be removed. It gives clarity where clarity wasn't before. And then a community follows around a shared change. So when you understand the reality of what somebody's going through and you can free up yourself to feel that empathy, you reframe the genuine parts of it. You frame the upside in a way that's meaningful. And then now you're leading with empathy and strategy. And that's when change stops becoming something that happens to somebody and becomes something that they can actually own.